Hello everybody and welcome to this, which is Season 4 of Motorsport Manager 2016 on the PC. Of course we're on Season 4 now with Predator Racing Group, so this is just going to be a setup video. We're going to be building a new chassis, we're going to be getting the car ready for next year, we're going to be getting a new livery update, we're going to be renewing contracts and all that sort of thing. Obviously last time we finished pretty well in the team standings. In the constructor standings we finished third with Predator overall there, managing to beat Boa in the last race of the season. We actually finished second and seventh there right at the end. It was a wet race and the wet weather played right into our hands at the end of the race. We went for the wet tyre, and a lot of the front runners on the track, a lot of the AI cars, they decided they were going to try and get through on the intermediates. It didn't quite work out for them because the rain got quite heavy for the last 3 laps, and then we were picking up tons of time on the wet tyre. Obviously that did wonders for Santana and Latinen, who finished 4th and 5th respectively in the drivers standings, doing absolutely brilliant. Santana picked up 2 wins during the whole season, so out of 12 races we actually got 2 wins. Santana was actually on the podium 4 times and Latinen was on the podium 2 times, so half of the races we finished on the podium, which is an absolutely amazing result. Last time out we got the gearbox built, we built a new front wing. I'm considering building a rear wing since it's pretty cheap, and going for this risky part here, and then seeing how much we can get it up to. Let's see if we can get it up to this max here. I don't know whether we should do that or go for that one. We'll do that one and see if we can work on it as well. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's not gonna. We're just gonna go below the 5 million mark, so we're gonna go ahead and build that. Just so hopefully we can get that as a base for next year's car, and then we're gonna hope for something from the chassis, something along these lines. Although we're gonna have to get up to this level through the dilemmas that come through, the little bits that come through in the mail after we've designed the new car. Where we have to pay like it says you can have £1 million to improve the fuel efficiency, like +1 and whatnot. So that's what we're going to do there. We've got all the parts fitted that we want. So if we look at what we've got actually fitted in the car now, we are actually the 7th best overall car. So that should be our starting point from next season. So hopefully that is going to be the case. We do have the best gearbox, the spec part here for the engine, so we should have the fastest car in terms of overall speed and acceleration. Obviously we are slow on the corners. We're not too bad with low speed corners because we're 6th best there, but medium speed corners and high speed corners through the suspension and the rear wing we're a long way behind on. So these are the things that we're going to have to work on this season. So maybe we're going to have to go and hire a new designer. So I'm not sure how high we can go on this. Obviously Karina Ryder, she looks really good for the front and rear wings, which is obviously what we want. Nikhil Dublet, which has been the one who's seen us through a promotion and keeping us here, he isn't the best at front wings. What difference does it make? I think it's like probably about 18 points, isn't it? We can't actually go and look now because we're designing this part. So I think we're going to have to take the hit. How much is it going to take to get rid of him? It's going to cost 800,000. No, I think we'll let his contract run down actually. We'll probably go, yeah, we'll let his contract run down and then hope to try and get someone else. Because 800,000 is like a part anyway. It's like, it'll pay for nearly 2 rear wings, won't it? So it's probably not going to make that much difference to have a new designer. And I've actually made my mind up that we're going to actually retain these 2 drivers. Both did really well this season in a really rubbish car, to be fair. So we're going to give them equal status again. She was on 139 last time. I think she'll probably... Now we'll try the same. She doesn't want any bonuses, so we'll try the same. She'll probably want it knocking up, maybe 1. It's all we're going to give her. We'll do the same for Latin. She wants a long contract. She doesn't want any bonuses, so bonus size isn't important. So we're going to go ahead and try and retain both of those. Although the only other driver is... I know she's in an Eastwood car, I think. Where is she? I think contract's coming up. No, is she out of contract already, is she? Or she disappeared here? I'm looking for Edda. She's disappeared off the list. Where's she gone? I don't even know where she's gone there. No, what am I doing? We're on designers. Oh jeez. Right, so we're looking for the Eastwood car. I know she's been with the Eastwood, because this is the only other person that I know is a paid driver, just from playing as Eastwood once on a game where I wasn't playing as Predator. She's got pretty decent stats, although she's not consistent overall too much. And I don't think we're going to have time to scout her before Eastwood make another offer for her, because I think Eastwood have just come up, haven't they? So what are Latin stats? So where's Eastwood here? Edda. So I think it's probably going to cost us about £500,000 a race. I don't think that's actually going to be worth it, is it? Because I'm sure we're probably going to have to offer her, because she'll probably want something like this, and then we'll probably only get the same back, which means we're going to lose about £500,000 a race, which is quite a lot over the season. So maybe it's just worth it just doing the car again. Both of these drivers are just about good enough to get decent results in this car, so if in a better car they should be able to get even better results. And if we keep consistent between the two, because a lot of these teams last season were one driver team, so if we can have two drivers doing above average, then we probably might be able to beat them in the Constructors' Championship. We're probably not going to win the Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors is what we're mainly bothered about. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll just don't think there's much else to do, so we're just going to go ahead and see how much prize money we've got now. Do we have any mail here? The car repair's complete on the last car. Not bothered about that too much. I don't think there's anything we can improve here. We're just waiting for that rear wing to be built. That's going to be ready about there. We're going to get enough time to just work on that. So how much prize money do we get? 27.75 million. That's tons of money. That almost pays for the car by itself. Last season we spent about 24 million on the car. So we've now probably got enough money there. We've probably got about another 10 million coming in as well, plus the 5 we've already got. So we're going to have tons of money here that we can probably go ahead and work on the HQ as well. So Rory Anderson, manager of the season, driver of the season, Lisandro Cruz, or Cruz, I keep saying Cruz, probably is Cruz. So where did Cruz come in? He actually came third. I thought Monroe would actually win the driver of the season, since he came second with 4 wins. Plus I think MRT are rated one of the worst cars. No, they've improved. 7. No, where are they? They're 4th at the moment. They had the worst car at one point in the season, but obviously they've managed to get that back now. I'm sure they had a pretty abysmal car at some point. No, maybe not. So we've got the new rules active. So we've got the addition of the Munich Track B next season. Where is that gonna? That's gonna go on to the end of the season next season. So we do have 13 races next season. That should add another £1 million to the budget with an extra race there. So it's getting to be a pretty long season now. And which track is it? It's one of the shorter ones, isn't it? Right, so we've got a new track next season, Munich. I'm not sure whether we actually did that track. No, I think it must have been the other two that I think you do 2. I can't remember if it's 2 Munich races that you do in the European Championship, but I'm going to go ahead and click on now until we get this rear wing built here. See where that puts us. I'm going to stick it in the car, just so we know we've got it there. Put the second best part in Latinen's car, and we're just going to go all in and try and improve this as much as we can. Probably not going to get enough time to get it up to 404 before it puts us up to 8th there as well. Brakes we're 7th on. So what could we actually build? Could we build a suspension part? How long does that take? 9 days. 5 days for the brakes. Would we have time to get that built before? Just before we go ahead and design the chassis. Don't think we've got time for that one, so we might as well go for this one, see if we can get that built just in time. Probably a risk, probably a waste of money, but if we can get that in the car just before Hopefully we'll come around and then we can just concentrate a little bit on working on the suspension in the early part of next season. But we're up at 6 at the moment, so not doing too badly there, so hopefully we can stick around that part. Got this contract proposal here, so the pre-season start's going to happen about here, isn't it? So we probably might get the gearbox built. Obviously we're not going to get a chance to work on it, so it's just that. Would they be happy with going up one? Hopefully they are, and then we don't get booted out of negotiations here. Would be wouldn't be the best if that actually happened. So the brakes have actually been built, although we're not going to get to look at how they've turned out. We can go check out car, but we can't actually see what's happened with it. They're both still considering that offer. So we do have this to build now. So we've got an extra 10 million there. So we've actually got 43 million in the bank here. We went with Racini last time. I do want equal between these. I don't want weak. Just improvability. Fuel efficiency. I'm not too bothered actually about fuel efficiency. Am I? Would I be bothered about fuel efficiency? Because the rules are staying the same, where we get to fill up pretty much as we want during the race. So maybe, what's the difference between that? It doesn't have much of a star on either way, does it? It doesn't do much in terms of star rating there. And for nearly £2 million there, it's not making much difference between the two, is it? So I don't think it's worth the money to go for this one. Although we get a base stat modifier putting everything up +6, so maybe that is worth it. We'll just keep it like that for now and see what the costs turn out like. Obviously this one makes a bit more of a difference, getting fuel efficiency up to 3, so I'm not too bothered about fuel efficiency, so we'll go for the cheaper one, because we get to put 6 laps of fuel in. We're forced to make 2 pit stops. It's not like the World Motorsport Championship where you have to try and make the fuel last to the end of the race. We do get to refuel throughout the race as much as we want, although we can only put so much in the fuel tank. But then that's never been a problem with us. So we do like, I was hoping we'd have a medium here. We'll do that one. Tyre heating. Want these about equal. So we're at 29 at the moment. So what could we change here? 26 seems decent enough, doesn't it? And I'm pretty happy with all of these parts. I don't want to go for this one because it knocks the tyre wear down. This is where we really want our strongest areas to be. Should we go for them being equal though? Although it's £3 million and it's not adding much. Seems decent enough, and just hope that we get some dilemmas through for what this stage 2 part is, a part adaptation. So hopefully we can improve on this there. This is probably about the best we can do. Don't really want to spend an extra 3 million just to get a little bit more rating here on the tyre heating. This seems decent enough, and tyre wear, which is the one that we really want to go with, because we like to try and get as much wear out of the tyres as we can using our strategy, which has worked quite well for us this season, getting us so high up the table, and we're probably going to try and continue with that. So we're looking for this. Not too bothered about that. So yeah, I think we keep pretty much everything even here. I think that should do. So we're going to go ahead and go for that. It's going to take 26 million off us here. We do have 16 million left there. So what can we get done here? We go ahead and have a look at the HQ parts here. So I did say I was wanting to build a forecasting centre. Is that what I should actually go with here? Would that actually work for us in some of the races to look ahead? Obviously it would have worked well for us in qualifying during the last race. I'm not too bothered about a scouting facility just yet. We can build that pretty much at any time because it doesn't cost a lot of money, and I'm not looking to change anything anytime soon. Obviously a test track would be nice, but we don't need any adjustments to the engine, although it would help the drivers out with cornering and overtaking. A simulator for the rear wing. Rear wing is something we're probably going to concentrate on. What is the one for the front wing? A wind tunnel. So we probably do need more help with the rear wing. And consistency, adaptability, feedback improvement rate. I'm not too bothered about feedback improvement rate. Consistency is a pretty good one to have, I think. Means the drivers will be more consistent over the season, although they're pretty consistent anyway, but it would be a good stat for them to increase. Cornering and smoothness for the suspension. But the suspension is the one that we're going to go for, isn't it? Yeah, so we'll go for that because I want to work on the suspension early on, and this should allow us to get a pretty high, probably get a few great parts, and obviously it would help us towards the end of the season if we can get some nice risky parts in that as well. So should we go for this one? I think we will do. We'll spend 5. And I want to waste this money on this forecasting centre, and I'm sick of not being able to see ahead for the race. Staff centre, what does that? Fitness focus. Staff centre helps your lead designer and race mechanics improve their skills. Forecasting centre. So, still a little bit unsure there. Should we actually go for it? Should we go for it? Should we go for the forecasting centre? There is a couple of wet races coming up. A lot of these do have a lot of rain in them, like probably Guildford and Rio. We did have quite a few tracks off season where there was quite a lot of rain. We'll just hang off for the moment and see what sort of money we have to spend on the car upgrades that will probably be coming through. So we'll just hold off on the forecasting centre at the moment. So we're gonna see if we've got these two back, and we've had them both accepted there. So we've got these two drivers again for the next 3 years. Although we'll probably be changing them. We'll probably bring someone in and demote one of these down to a reserve driver if we ever want to change him. But for now we've got them both signed. So we're keeping the same lineup once again heading into the 4th season. I don't see any reason to change them for the money we get. So we're still getting over $250,000 back just for having these two in the seat. I might think about bringing a reserve driver in, maybe. Just maybe. Maybe I'll scout some of the younger kids. So I'm just going to scout the 3 youngest drivers here. Although maybe not. Let's have a look what sort of ratings they could get. These two look decent enough, so we'll scout them. Let's see. Shenkiwi, Sylvana. Shenkui, the one that's with the Dragon Race team as a reserve. I think he's rated as a wonder kid, wasn't he? I'm not sure. We'll scout him anyway. We'll scout those and we'll think about maybe picking one of those up as a reserve driver, because we don't have one at the moment. Well, we do have one, but it's just someone that the computer gives you when your other reserve driver runs out. We'll just think about whether it'd be worth it or not. Got new... Oh, we've actually let Roger Dunbar go here, haven't we? Great. I wonder if we can get him back. I forgot about my race mechanic. No. No, is he here? Can we get him back? He's still interested. Right, so I'm not sure what he was on last time. It was pretty high. He wants a long contract. He's not bothered about the other ones, so... We just lost some money there, maybe having to try and re-sign him. He's the one that we wanted. He's rated 4 stars now, so he's got pretty much up to potential here. So he was doing a long. And we obviously do want him back for Maya, because they do have that relationship. And he's accepted the offer there. And Maya and Inez. So it looks like Maya fancies fancies Santa Ana there. A little bit weird. So whether that is going to play a little bit of a part, maybe we're going to get some other messages during the season about that, but it gives her a bit more morale. Maybe that's the only little thing that it has, and it's timed at 19 weeks. We haven't had any emails yet, but we need to go and accept this contract offer. So we need to replace Jim Howell here. And we've kept the boosts that we had. So let's have a look here. Dunbar is letting his new race mechanic. Re-signed there. He's got a really good stats. Woodbridge is taking quite a bit longer to improve, but hopefully once he gets around to this age he will be a 3.5 star as well. and I do really want to keep him because he's pretty useful, him and Santana, in the first few races of the season, because we can just put all our reliability focus onto Latinen's car to start with, because as it is with this nerf stat, even with starting at 40% reliability, it's enough to get Santana through without actually worrying, and being able to push it as well without many of the parts breaking down. Got a press HQ visit. Yeah, we'll go for some team marketability. Well, it's probably not going to make much difference because we're at 100% anyway, aren't we? We're not bothered about the morale for Santana because she is pretty happy all the time. Yeah, it's going to take quite a lot to impact on her there. So what can we get to next? We're just waiting for a couple of emails. Hopefully, are we going to get any part improvability emails? It doesn't look like it, does it? Even though we've got all this money aside. Got a couple of scouting through, only 2 stars. Jury, 4 stars. Well, he's pretty poor in a lot of areas, isn't he? Wonder how much he'd actually want if we went for him. So maybe he could be like our long-term plan to get in a car. So maybe replace Santana or Latinum when their contracts are coming due. Maybe that's something to think about before the season starts, and maybe we can put him in a few practice sessions as well. Tyre simulation, so this is the one that we wanted for tyre wear. This is definitely the one that we wanted, so that's quite good. So we're going to spend this 1.5 million to get the extra 1 boost. To get the extra 1 boost to the car here, so we're up at 3, nearly 4 stars there. Hopefully we get one for tyre heating as well. I'm not too bothered about these two. Maybe improvability a little bit, but I'd prefer tyre heating. Something like that. We've got the other scouting report through here for Shenkui. He is actually a wonder kid. Actually, it's a woman. But she can only go up to 4 stars. Having a secret affair. Focus -2. Right, so maybe we should just go ahead and try and make an offer for him. He hasn't got the best stats at the moment, but maybe it can be like a long-term project to see how he turns out. Don't want to spend too much money. Do want a reserve driver, and he's not bothered about any of this. It's going to cost us about 60,000 because we're only paying 1,000 for the reserve driver. But it might be good just to have a project there, a long-term project of getting a driver, bringing a young driver through the reserve system. Should be a nice challenge, that. So maybe that's what we're going to do. Instead of bringing in a new driver to go straight into a seat, we're going to try and build a driver ourselves. Gives it a bit more of a challenge, doesn't it? A fuel supplier breakthrough here. So fuel efficiency, which is definitely the one we wanted as well. Is it? No, not quite, but it's going to work out. It's going to work out nice for us as well. So we're going to take it because we've got plenty of money. Not long till the car's done here. So we do have some money here. I don't think we're going to get another email. Should we go ahead and build? Should we go ahead and build? Oh no. Should we build the forecasting centre, or should we go for this? No, we're going to work on the car. I'm not bothered about the forecast. I'm going to build the bit for the rear wing, so then we can improve on the 2 parts that we're the worst off at the moment over this season. And we've got this jury. I'm sure it said jury there. No, is he coming a bit later today? No, so we've got the car livery this season. Don't want to change the colours too much. I might add, it says these are the team colours, so maybe we can add a bit of orange in. Something like that this season. It doesn't have much to this design, but we're going to change it. I'm not going to mess about too long with this. Although maybe I should go for a white car. We did have the white car the season before last. And go back this way. Because the last time we had the white car, it was before the patch, so it didn't actually show the car properly during the races. Get rid of the orange bit maybe. Should we go green? Bit green in there. Oh, that's horrible. Just go white there as well. Yeah, we'll go. I want a nice sort of white car. Some sort of predator. Sort of like animal markings, isn't it? Like a bit like a leopard. Should we go for that one? Wonder what that'd be like if we went orange and white. Black. No. It's horrible. Prefer it the way I had it there. Would that do? What about that one? Since it's predator, we'll go for a leopard print, should we? Should we go a bit garish here? Go for the leopard print. Is it that orange we have? Yeah, we'll go for that sort of thing. Go for that. That is pretty decent for a leopard print, isn't it? Because that's the way a leopard print is, isn't it? So like a darker orangey sort of colour, then black, and then a lighter sort of orangey inside the spots. So that does suit us a lot better, doesn't it, with a predator car like that. We just need to change the light colour sponsors maybe. We get that. Where are the light colour sponsors? Do we have any light colour sponsors? No. Should we keep those in red? Green seems to show up a lot better. Green seems to show up better than the black. Does it? No, we'll go with that one. That's what we're going with this season. We're going with a predator theme here. We're going with a leopard coloured leopard print car. So we'll go with that. Seems pretty fit in there. So let's see what we've got. We haven't got long now until we get into pre-season testing. It should be coming up in just a couple of days. How far away? Just about half a month away. And we're gonna see if we can, and he's accepted that there, so we can actually put him in for Lola here. We'll probably have him do a few practice sessions. We didn't pay him any sort of sign-on fee there, so it's going to lose us a little bit per race now. It's going to cost a little bit to get in the seat. Maybe we can actually put him in for a few races here. Look, Santa Ana's actually got up to 3 stars now over in the off-season. Latinan's up at 3 stars, but that's because she's got this refocus stat which only lasts 8 more weeks. It might last till the first race of the season, maybe. Maybe it'll last that long. Don't know. But we do now have an actual reserve driver who's got some decent potential here to get to 4 stars. Although it might take him around to about this age to get that far. Latinan can get a little bit further, so can Santa Ana. So where's she improved? She's pretty good in these areas. Although she's down in a couple of these. Although has she got a focus? Addicted to video games? Is that a... it's just a temporary one. 4 days to go, so she'll be getting 3 focus back there as well, won't she? So that's not too bad. So, have we got any emails? We've got pre-season testing this weekend. Cool, it's nothing to do with us. So the new car design is complete here. So let's see where we stack up during pre-season testing. We were pretty far down last season as we did this, so hopefully we're a lot better here. Hopefully our speeds match the other teams. I was thinking we'd be a bit faster than that. This is our top speeds down. That can't be right because we have the quickest. We have spec engines, then we have the quickest gearbox, but then again, obviously a lot of that's to do with the aero as well. But in terms of power, we should be the best, but we don't have the best aero package. Santa Ana actually last there, so although this didn't have any sort of bearing on how we performed during the season, so we're just gonna go get ahead here, see where sort of car we've got rated. We're somewhere in the middle here, it looks like, through the save screen. Where are we? We've actually got the 6th best overall car this season, not too bad. The drivers have improved, so we're not too far behind the sort of average drivers. We don't have the worst drivers in the competition this season. Headquarters are there or thereabouts. Staff's alright. Sponsors are the worst. So how are we behind on sponsors so far? I'm not quite sure there. wants us to finish third. I predict that we will come third in the team's championship this season, obviously because we've set, with last season's performance, we've set the bar for what the chairman actually wants us to do. So what do we actually get from the chairman at the moment? Over £2 million we get off him, and he's offering 1.89. We can't accept this one because it's going to be a loss of so much money, isn't it? Although I don't want to accept this one and be in such a risk of getting fired. So how are we even going to finish third? Oh, dilemmas. Although I don't think we'd be too bad if we came in actual something like 6 or something. I still think we'd be good enough not to get fired. We're going to have to go click that one, do it before I change my mind. We can now go look at the car. So we've still got the best gearbox. So 5th for the front wing. So we're not actually the worst off in any of the categories there. And we do have these HQ parts being built. So what can we work on first? Maybe suspension so we can be ready for when we get the new parts here. Plus 12 from designer, because I think he's still alright. Is doublet with a suspension here. He's not too bad there, or with the brakes. It's just the wings. So what difference does he actually make to that? We get a plus 11 on the brakes. So it must be more to do with the actual stat that they've got. So I would guess he's got like a plus 7 or plus 6 here, just a plus 7. So he'll lose his 5 points per part. So that's not too bad really. So what are we the worst on suspension? So we'll go ahead and do this. We'll go plus 25 to max, get that to 409. Yeah, that's what we're going to do, because then we can put this one on for the next part, and then by the time we've got that built we should have access to a great part. That's what we're going to do early on here. We've got money to spend, so that would get us a little bit higher. Hopefully we can make some more headroom into these couple of cars here. So we're going to have to focus on reliability. Although we're not as bad this season as we were last season. A lot of these parts, obviously Santa Ana can get around with this reliability pretty easy, so we're gonna have to go work on the parts for Latinen. I can't remember which parts are the quickest to fix during a race. Obviously gearbox will probably go, suspension will probably go pretty easy, and this one probably leave the brakes instead of the highest, and we can get that done. Will Dunbar do that quicker? Dunbar can do that quicker. And what sort of improvements can we make to these parts? Obviously we don't want to work on any of the suspensions yet because we're getting new parts anyway. There's not a lot of room for improvement with these parts, is there? Santa Ana's car's actually quite a lot ahead here of Latinen's. We'll just go ahead and work on a couple of these parts because we're not going to be doing anything. It's going to take a long time to get them done because we're going to be working on reliability pretty early. So what do we have coming up with votes? Vote on replacing the Phoenix track A with track B. Normal width slick tyres coming up. It's not going to make much of a difference to us. Engines can be developed. Obviously that's going to be a big vote around then. Obviously we don't want that to happen because we don't want to develop as many parts as we can. Although we do have an excellent engine designer in Doublet and 3 dry weather tyre compounds. Obviously we have 2 at the moment. So maybe the getting the engines off spec is something we can work on because we do have a lead designer who is absolutely great with engines, and then maybe over the off season build a test track. Because obviously we're going to have to, if we're aiming to go up to the World Motorsport Championship, then maybe it will be a good thing to be able to work on the engines, because once we get up to the World Motorsport Championship then we're going to be just thrown to the wolves. If we ever do get there, we're just going to be thrown to the wolves and need to be improving the engines, and maybe we can improve the engines before we get there. Then of course we'll have a nice little boost there. Maybe that's what stops a lot of these teams going up from the Asia Pacific actually staying up, because the engines are actually competitive enough. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get to the Singapore race here. We'll probably just go up until that part, see what we can get on with the reliability here. There's not much else to do now apart from those, I don't think, so we're just going to go ahead and skip to the end of this, which will then be the end of the episode. We're going to get the suspension built just in time. It might just be good enough to go in Santana's car. Obviously it's only going to be 40%, isn't it? So what we like for a lot of these parts up into the 50s now, probably keep them the way they are. What's this race going to be? Obviously the brakes are crucial, so maybe we're going to be working the brakes quite a bit there, so maybe we should come off a lot of these like that and just work on these two, see how high we can get those, because obviously it looks like they're going to take quite a bit of stick around Singapore. Is the gearbox and obviously the front wing as well, so should we put the front wing on there as well, because they look like the things that are going to take the most stick during this race. See how high we can get those now before the race for Latinen. Gonna get this suspension part built here. What's it gonna look like? Obviously it's not a lot better at the moment, and there's only 3% between it, so is it worth it to risk that for just this race? Gets us into 8th, it's still with 6 with the best overall car, and we're gonna get rid of everything here because we're gonna go ahead and just work on this new suspension to try and get it up to 4 or 8, because this will eventually become Latinen's suspension, because we are now going to go ahead and spend a little bit more money on the next suspension part, which should get us to 439, and then we're going to hope, what can we get in this one, although it puts minus 15% in for reliability. Well, that's not going to matter because we can work on it anyway to get that back. And then we're going to have access to this by the end of the season. So this is something we're going to be able to work on for the end of this season to get a really nice part there. But for now we're going to build this one. We're going to be able to unlock slot 4. We're not going to be able to put a legendary part in it, are we? Because we need the handling at level 2. But we're going to be able to have this, this, this and this by the end of the season. We're not going to be able to unlock slot 5 because we can't put, although he does have a we do have a legendary thing with him, don't we, which allows us to unlock 5 parts, because even though we don't have that, yeah, we do have this epic part that we can put into -1 risk level, so we might be able to use one of these riskier parts before the end of the season here. Obviously I'm not sure what that is on the rear wing. Anyway, we're going to build that new suspension, or should we build the what else are we building? The simulator, aren't we? Should we go with a new rear wing first? So we can have that. Should we go between them? We'll go suspension, rear wing, suspension, rear wing, suspension, rear wing. Should we do that? Yep, I think we'll do that. And that should take us through now to Singapore. So where are we at with the car? 62, 58, 64. It's going to be a bit of a stretch to get Latinen through to the end of the race. Hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we can get her through to the end of the race. We just can't push it too much. Santa Ana, all her parts are rated about 40, but it's just about right. And we look like we're in a pretty good position overall here, because we're starting off with the 6th best overall car. So hopefully, and Chariot have come down and they'd actually have the best car. So Boa have actually got the better car than them. So I wonder if we can have a look at the at this World Motorsport. Who went up? I can't even remember. The Esprit. Where are they rated? And they have the worst car, probably by a long way. So yeah, so that's where we're going to leave this first episode of Season 4. Hopefully we're going to have a good season, but anyway, if you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button down below. Think about leaving a like or a comment, and I'll see you down the road in Singapore for the first race of the season, and goodbye.